Shalom, shalom, peace, peace. This is Jadiel from the Fourth Angels Learning Center. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. And today in our Q&A, somebody asked a question pertaining to the idea of what does it mean when it says one will be taken and another will be left. All right, so we're going to answer that question today on this study today. And before we start, I want to remind everybody, if you desire to support this ministry, you can support us at 4alc.com. You can also support us at Cash App, which is $4ALC Bless. That's 4ALCBLESS. All right. So the question that was asked, it comes from, let's see. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can pull it up. And the interesting thing about this particular question is that this question surrounds the idea of, I believe, is the rapture. And what it does is it gives a false idea of the judgment, like how individuals will, not necessarily how individuals will receive the judgment, but how individuals will escape it. So, so the first one, there's two there's two times that it mentions this, and I'm gonna write it down so that way we could point out both. One is in Matthew chapter 24, and one is in Luke 17. So let's go to Matthew 24 first. So Matthew 24, what does it mean? One will be taken, the other one left. Well, we're going to break it down. All right, Matthew 24. All right. All right, let's look at this. It's a good question. And I know that sometimes it could be confusing with the way that people teach this doctrine. And that's kind of the sad aspect to it. That based off of how people teach it will determine the mindset that people receive from it. So because of this teaching, everybody is thinking that they could escape tribulation, or that they're gonna disappear and not have to experience any type of persecution, or experience the tribulation in the last days. So let's look at what it's actually saying now. So Matthew 24, it brings us to the day and the hour, right? And it says here, but the day and the hour knows no man, no, not the angels, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah was, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. So the attributes is about the day of Noah. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating, drinking, marrying, giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark, and knew not until the flood came. And then it says this, and took them all away. This is very important for you to see in order to understand what it's saying. So the flood came and took them away. So shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Interesting, because those being taken away in this description are not the ones that's being delivered, are not Yah's people. The ones that remain, the remnant, the ones who are left, was the 8 in the ark. So those who are taken away are being taken away by destruction, by the flood. Then it goes into the description. It says, then two Then shall two be in the field, one shall be taken and the other left. Verse 39 tells you that the flood came and took them away. Destruction came, punishment came, judgment came and took them away. Two shall be in the field, one shall be taken, one shall be left. Two women shall be grinding in the mill, one shall be taken, the other left. Watch therefore, for you know not the hour that your master comes. Watch, because you do not know the hour of your master, of when your master comes. And then in this description, another parable, he's talking about the judgment or the punishment that will come on them um, quickly or unknowingly. It says, but know this, that if a good man of the house had known what watch the thief would come, or what part of the night the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. So you see, he's being caught off guard, just as the people in the days of Noah in verse 38. It says, for in the days of the flood, they were eating, drinking, marrying, giving into marriage. They were not paying attention. They were not watching. So they got caught off guard when the flood came and took them away. So the one that's being taken is not a good thing. It's the one that's being caught off guard. The one that's left is the one that is remaining, the remnant. It describes this also in Luke chapter 17. Let's go there. Luke chapter 17. And this is all talking about the second coming. What's going to happen? The second coming, when the second coming occurs, destruction also occurs at the same time. So it's kind of like the flood taking them away, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be, is referring to judgment being brought upon the people, the disobedient, the wicked, when the Son of Man comes. Not stealing away people where they disappear and not have to deal with the persecution or the suffering or the tribulation that's going on the earth at that time. Let's look at Luke chapter 27. Now, there's quite a few verses, so we're going to look at verse 26. Look at what it says here. It goes in a little bit more into detail. It says, as it is in the days of Noah, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Oh, so shall it also be in the days of the Son of Man. It says, they did eat and they drank and married wives. They were given in marriage until the day of Noah, right? Entered into the ark. And then it says, the flood came and destroyed them all. See, Matthew says, taking them away. It said the flood came and taken them away. But verse 27 here in Luke chapter 17, it says that the flood came and destroyed them all. Then he mentions Lot in the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. And he says, likewise, as it is was in the days of Lot, they did eat and they drank and they bought and they sold and they planted and they built. The same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire from and brimstone and destroyed them all. There goes that description again. Even so shall it be in the day that the Son of Man is revealed. So when the Son of Man is revealed, not only is the wicked remaining, the righteous remaining, but the wicked will be destroyed at this same time. It says, in that day, referring to the day that the Son of Man is revealed, he which shall be upon the housetop and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it away. He that is in the field, let him likewise not return back. So if you notice, there's a person on the housetop, he says, let him not go back. And then it says in the field, it says, let him not return back. And then it says, remembers Lot's wife. So the interesting thing is, in the other description, it talks about two in the field, but it says, let him that is in the field not return back. Remember Lot's wife. It says, whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it. Whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. And he says, I tell you, in that night, there shall be two men in one bed, one shall be taken and the other shall be left. Two women shall be grinding together, and one shall be taken and the other left. Two men in the field, one shall be taken and the other left. Why answered said unto him, where? Where are they being taken? And he said, It says, wheresoever the body is, there will be vultures or eagles be gathered together. So he's like, they're being taken to they're dead. Where their body is where they're being devoured by vultures. So he was using this terminology because they were not getting what he was saying, which is very clear in scripture. Why? Because he was talking to the Pharisees. In verse 20 it says, and when he had demanded the Pharisees when the kingdom of Elohim should come, he answered them and said. So he's talking to the Pharisees and his disciples, and they're asking these questions in confusion. And we know why they were not understanding. This was the understanding of the second coming. This was the understanding of destruction that will come upon them when Messiah comes. And we see that the disciples definitely understood after Messiah died, because we see Peter describing the second coming in 2 Peter chapter 3. So let's go there. So he describes the coming of the Messiah, right? And he says here in verse 4, let's start in verse 3. It says, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers walking in their own desires, saying, where is the promise of his coming? Who's coming? Talking about Messiah. So people who used to follow Yah, they're gonna be like, okay, when is he coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. Everything is the same. For this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of Elohim the heavens were of old, meaning they were created, and the earth standing out of water and in water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. So he's talking about the flood again. So he's talking about the combination between the coming of the Son of Man and then the flood. This is the third time. So the first time we saw in Matthew 24, the second time in Luke 17, and now 2 Peter chapter 3, that the flood is constantly being an attribute of the second coming of Messiah, the promised coming of the Messiah. It says, look at this right here, verse 7. It says, the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and the perdition, the destruction of ungodly men. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with Yah as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as of one day. That's not saying that one day is 1,000 years. It's simply saying that time is not a factor for Yah. These people are saying, when is he going to do it? Everything is the same as in the beginning. Time is not a factor to Yah. He's going to fulfill his promise, whether you want to remember what he said or you want to disregard what he says. It doesn't matter. Verse 9, it says, Yah is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering towards us, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. This time frame in between his coming is so that way more people can hear the truth, and that more people can repent and come out of Babylon and come to Yah. It says here, but the day of Yah will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. The sky is the heavens. The sky will pass away with a great noise, or roll back. The elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Verse 11, it says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person ought you to be in your holy conduct and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the day of Elohim, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for a new heavens and new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. We're looking for new heavens and earth anyway. So when he comes and destruction comes with him, we're not worrying about the destruction on this earth. We know a new heaven, a new earth is coming anyway for us. According to the book of Revelation, we know that occurs after the 1,000 years. So the Messiah comes, all of this destruction occurs, And then after the 1,000 years, after the judgment of the wicked, we see that he gives his people a new heavens and a new earth where righteousness dwells. Let's go to the prophet Isaiah. Let's go to the prophet Isaiah to match these things with the prophets, because they have to, the prophets, the spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets, right? So Isaiah 33, verse 10, look what it says. Now will I rise, saith Yahuwah. Now will I be exalted. Now will I lift up myself. You shall conceive chaff. You shall bring forth stubble. Your breath as fire shall devour you. And the people shall be as the burnings of lime, and as thorns cut up shall they be burned in the fire. Hear, you that are far off, talking about the wicked, what have I done? And you that are near, acknowledge my might. The sinners of Zion are afraid. Fearfulness have surprised the hypocrites. Who among us shall dwell in the devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell in the everlasting burnings? I want you to pay attention to this, because clearly the wicked will not survive the presence of this devouring fire. But who will? Who will dwell with everlasting burnings? It says, he that walks righteously and speaks uprightly, he that despises the gain of the oppressions, that shakes his hands from the holding of bribes, that stops his ears from hearing of blood, that shuts his eyes from seeing evil, he shall dwell on high. His place of defense shall be the munition of rocks. Bread shall be given to him. His water shall be sure. And then look what it says here. Your eyes shall see the king in his beauty, in his majesty. They shall behold the land that is very far off. Talking about the new heavens and new earth. So your eyes shall see the king in his beauty. Those are the ones that'll be able to visually see him, that will be in his presence and will not be devoured. But all the wicked will be devoured. All the earth, actually, as Peter said. So one thing we want to know is this, right? What's the principle? What's the principle behind this, right? We understand that punishment is coming with the coming of the Son of Man, that he's coming with his reward. Hebrews chapter 12, looking at verse 24, look at what it says, 24 to 29. It says, Yahushua, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood sprinkling that speaks better things than that of Abel. See that you refuse not him that speaks. For if they escape not who refused him that spoke on earth, much more shall they not we escape if we turn away from him that speaks from heaven, whose voice then shook the earth, but now he hath promised, saying, Yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven. This word, yet once more, signifying the removing of the things that are shaken, as the things that are made, those things that cannot be shaken may remain. So again, you see the principle. Yah is going to shake the things that are kind of disconnected from him. If anything is not steadfast, if it doesn't have faith, if it doesn't have emunah, if it's not stable, then when Yah shakes the earth, it will be shaken with it. When his presence come and his presence devours the earth, the wicked shall be devoured with it. But those things which cannot be shaken will remain. It says, wherefore we receiving a kingdom which cannot be moved, let us have grace, whereby we may serve Elohim acceptably with reverence and with godly fear. For our Elohim is a consuming fire. So I think that this is quite clear. When it says one shall be taken, it's not talking about righteous people being taken. The correlation is always Sodom, is always Noah, it's always the flood, it's always the coming of the Son of Man, but it's always what's going on to the wicked. The context is if they were watchful, then they would recognize when their house was broken in, as we read in, I believe that was in Luke chapter 17. So what's happening is he's trying to tell people the danger of not being watchful, that you're going to be swept away, taken away, removed, because you are not steadfast in Yah. You're not watchful. You're not sober minded. This is a very important wake up call to people, because people think that being taken is the rapture, that people that the Messiah is going to come and take you away before anything happens. And it's the taking away is the destruction. When the second coming, when the Son of Man comes, that his presence destroy you because of your wickedness. Not that he's going to come and take you away. Those who are left are going to be with him. Those who are taken away are swept away by destruction, the way that it said that the flood came and took them away. So I hope that this answered the question clearly about the idea of one being taken and one left behind. If you have any more questions, please feel free to contact us. Send us your questions. We'll be happy to make videos in response to these questions. So that way, not only can we have a dialogue with you, but that everyone can hear the answer to these questions as well, and learn and be edified. So praise Yah. Look forward to studying with you guys soon. Shalom, everyone. Shalom, shalom. Thank you guys for joining our study today. I hope that it was edifying. And if you want to support this ministry, you can support us on 4alc.com. And don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube page. Click the like button and the notification bell. I hope to see you guys on the next study. Shalom, guys.